If you want more peace and power, there's one habit you can't afford to break. Keep this private. The Stoics were ruthless about silence, and for a reason. Share the wrong details, and you trade your focus for noise, your strength for strangers' opinions. In the next few minutes, I'll show you 4 things you must never reveal, 3 timeless lessons from Stoicism, and a 4th that almost no one talks about, that quietly separate the scattered from the unstoppable. Before we begin, ask yourself this: who gets access to your inner life? Discipline or distraction? The Stoics believed that strength was not proven through what you declared, but through what you could hold quietly inside. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Every time you share your thoughts with the wrong audience, you risk staining that color with the noise of the crowd. Seneca warned that careless words weaken character, and Epictetus reminded his students that freedom begins with mastering your impulses, including the impulse to speak. There was a time in my life when I mistook openness for authenticity. I believed that sharing everything made me honest, transparent, even brave, but in truth it made me scattered. Every opinion I absorbed became a distraction, and every reaction from others subtly changed my direction. What felt like connection was, in reality, diffusion. The Stoics would have smiled at my mistake, because to them silence was never absence. It was strength held in reserve. So here are 4 things that Stoicism teaches us to keep private if you want to protect your peace, your power, and your focus. And the last one may completely change the way you understand virtue. 1. Your deepest goals. When you speak your dreams too early, you give the world permission to interfere with them. The Stoics warned that the fire of intention burns brightest in silence and dims in applause. I once shared a personal project with friends, a project that felt sacred to me. Their support was warm, but in that warmth, something subtle died. I started imagining their expectations instead of focusing on my actions. The energy that once came from purpose now came from wanting to impress. Weeks later, the project faded. That's when I learned that attention is a thief disguised as encouragement. The Stoics would say, "Don't talk about your philosophy, live it." And the same goes for your goals. When you declare them, your mind releases dopamine, the same satisfaction you'd feel if you had already achieved them. Talking becomes a substitute for doing. Keep your goals like embers hidden beneath ashes, quiet, steady, gathering heat. When the time is right, your results will speak louder than any announcement. Try this practice. Write your ambitions privately. Review them at dawn when the world is quiet. For the next 30 days, share nothing about your plans. Let your silence become momentum. The less you say, the more you'll do, and the more you do, the less you'll need to say. 2. Your struggles and weaknesses. Pain is universal, but wisdom lies in how we handle it. The Stoics didn't deny their suffering. They transformed it into discipline. I remember a season of my life when everything seemed to collapse at once. Work was chaotic, relationships strained, sleep non-existent. I thought that sharing my struggle openly would make me feel lighter. For a few days, it did. But soon I realized that every conversation about my pain made the wound deeper. Each retelling was like scratching a scab that was trying to heal. Epictetus once said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." What he meant was, live your healing instead of narrating it. Talking about weakness can be cathartic, but broadcasting it to everyone drains the very strength you need to overcome it. Find 1 or 2 people you trust deeply. Mentors, friends who hold your truth without judgment. Speak honestly with them, then return to silence. Reflection is medicine, repetition is poison. The Stoics practiced this discipline through journaling. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not to impress others, but to process his battles privately. His words were meant for no audience, yet they changed millions. Maybe your strength begins the same way in pages no one else will read. And if this message resonates with you, if you're seeking to build that quiet strength, the best thing you can do is stay connected to Stoic wisdom daily. Subscribe to Stoic Spring, and every week you'll receive teachings that help you stay calm, centered, and resilient. Create the habit of nurturing your peace of mind, because peace, like a muscle, grows through consistent practice. 3. Your personal life. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. In a world addicted to exposure, privacy has become a rare form of power. The Stoics valued it because they understood that what's sacred loses meaning when it's over-explained. I learned this lesson through heartbreak. Years ago, I shared too much about my relationship, stories, emotions, even private arguments. At first, it felt like connection, but soon it became noise. Everyone had an opinion and none of them lived my life. What should have been resolved between two people became a spectacle of confusion. The love that once felt pure now carried the weight of other people's expectations. Seneca wrote, "Withdraw into yourself as far as you can." He didn't mean isolation, he meant sovereignty. When you retreat from public noise, you return to the center of your own judgment. That's where clarity lives. Here's a practice. Before you share a detail of your personal life, pause for 24 hours. Ask yourself, am I sharing this to connect or to be seen? If it's the latter, wait. If it's truly meant to connect, you'll know, because it won't come from anxiety. It'll come from peace. Your personal life is like a flame. Too much oxygen and it burns out. Too little and it suffocates. Balance is found in quiet warmth, not public fire. Remember, not everyone who watches you wants the best for you. Protect your inner circle. Protect your peace. In silence, love grows deeper roots. 4. Your good deeds and acts of virtue. And now, the one most people overlook. Your good deeds. In our era of digital applause, kindness often comes with a hashtag, but the Stoics taught that virtue needs no witness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you have done a good act, don't look for applause. It is enough to have done it." Virtue is its own reward. When you seek recognition for your goodness, the act stops being good. It becomes performance. Years ago, I helped a stranger who was struggling financially. It felt right, but later, I caught myself mentioning it in conversation, hoping to be seen as compassionate. That realization hit hard. I wasn't seeking virtue, I was seeking validation. From that day, I made a rule: do at least one act of goodness every week that no one knows about. Those moments changed me more than any public gesture ever could. Try it. Offer help anonymously. Donate without leaving your name. Praise someone behind their back. Notice how free it feels when no one is watching. That's real virtue. Seneca wrote that true greatness doesn't boast, it simply is. Silence purifies intention. The less you talk about your goodness, the more it becomes part of you. Virtue done for applause fades quickly. Virtue done for growth endures forever. When you protect what is private, you protect your power. Every unnecessary word you save becomes energy you can use to build, to endure, to become. The Stoics weren't silent because they feared the world. They were silent because they understood that speech should follow mastery, not replace it. Let's reflect for a moment. Keep your goals private until they're grounded in action. Keep your struggles private until they've become wisdom. Keep your personal life private so it can breathe without judgment. And keep your good deeds private so your virtue remains pure. Each act of restraint sharpens your peace. Each boundary you draw creates inner space. Privacy isn't hiding, it's focus. It's the art of letting your actions make the noise while your soul stays still. Imagine your mind as a walled garden. Inside are the seeds of your best self: discipline, patience, courage. Every time you share prematurely, you open the gate for wind, noise, and distraction. But when you close the gate and tend to your garden quietly, it grows strong enough to withstand any storm. So guard your garden, guard your silence, because peace, once lost to noise, takes time to rebuild. And if you're ready to cultivate that inner peace every single day, remember to subscribe to Stoic Spring. You'll join a community of people who, like you, are learning to grow through wisdom, to mature through reflection, and to choose serenity over chaos. Because when you make peace your daily practice, you don't just survive life, you master it.